And what's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Historic Hot Laps. I'm your host, Alex Daniels. Had a big weekend in racing this last week. We had a couple little news things come out, something we're super excited about. We kicked off the F1 season opener in Australia, so stick around for when we talk about that one, because we're going to bring in a special guest once again to talk about Formula One and predict where we think the season's going to go and just have a little chat about that. So super excited for that one. We had a doubleheader weekend with IndyCar NASCAR crossover in Phoenix, so let's just kick that off right now. So IndyCar was first, so let's talk about it. The IndyCar portion of the Phoenix doubleheader delivered one of the most dramatic races in the early 2026 season as the series returned to the 1 mile oval for the Good Ranchers 250. When the race began, David Malukas led the field to green after earning the pole position, putting Team Penske in a strong starting spot for the 250-lap event. The opening stages saw drivers quickly settle into long runs around the tight oval, where tire management and traffic would play a huge role in the outcome. For much of the race, it looked like the story would have revolved around Christian Rasmussen, who charged through the field and spent significant time battling towards the front. Rasmussen showed impressive pace and appeared to have one of the fastest cars on track as the race moved into its later stages. But late race drama changed everything. While battling for the lead with Will Power, Rasmussen made an aggressive move on the outside and the two cars made contact. Power suffered a cut tire and Rasmussen's car was damaged, bringing out a caution that completely reset the race for everyone. This incident erased the advantage Rasmussen had built and opened the door for a new contender, and that contender's name is Joseph Newgarden. Newgarden took advantage of the caution to pit for fresh tires, and once the race restarted, he began just slicing his way through the field. With just a handful of laps remaining, Newgarden caught Kyle Kirkwood, who had inherited the lead after the Rasmussen incident. With 7 to go, Newgarden made the decisive pass and drove away to claim victory by 1.79 seconds, scoring his 33rd career IndyCar win and his first victory of the 2026 season. Kirkwood brought the Andretti Global Honda home in second place after leading late in the race, while David Malukas completed the podium in third, giving Team Penske 2 drivers in the top 3, which is a huge turnaround from where they were last season, right? So just behind the podium finishers, though, you had Pato O'Ward, who finished 4th for Arrow McLaren. He looked super strong, and Marcus Armstrong rounded out the top 5 for Meyer Shank Racing. Mark my words on this one, Marcus Armstrong is going to be somebody to watch this season, without a doubt. The race also had major championship implications. Reigning champion Alex Palou, who had won the season opener in St. Petersburg, which we discussed, suffered an early crash after contact with Rinus VeeKay, forcing him out of the race and ending his long run atop the IndyCar points standings. With the win, Joseph Newgarden moved into the championship lead as the series left Phoenix and prepared for the next round on the streets of Arlington, which is a new race for the series, so that's going to be awesome. But for IndyCar, the return to Phoenix produced exactly what fans had hoped for: a fast, aggressive oval race filled with strategy, late drama, and a last-minute charge to victory. Now, while we're on the subject of IndyCar, before we move on to the other half of the Phoenix weekend, let's talk about the one big news story of the week. One of the early storylines heading into the month of May has already been confirmed. Connor Daly has officially announced he will return to the 2026 Indianapolis 500. Daly will compete in the 110th running of the Indy 500, driving the number 23 Chevrolet for Dreyer and Reinbold Racing, marking another appearance for the Indiana native in his home race at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. For Daly, the Indianapolis 500 has become one of the most consistent parts of his racing career. The 2026 race will mark his 13th start for the Indy 500, continuing a long run of appearances in what many drivers consider to be the biggest race in the world. I know we do here, call it partial judgment, whatever, but that's how we look at it at this podcast, that's for sure. But looking at Daly's record at the Speedway, he's quietly built a solid resume over the years. He has 12 career starts, 5 top 10 finishes, and 82 laps led in the race. His best finish so far came in 2022 when he finished 6th place, and he most recently finished 8th in the 2025 Indy 500, where he also led 13 laps. So Daly's often been one of the strongest drivers representing smaller teams at the Speedway, frequently outperforming his starting position and putting himself into contention late in the race. With Dreyer and Reinbold Racing once again fielding an Indy-only program, Daly's experience at the Indianapolis 500 makes him a strong addition to the lineup and a potential dark horse when the green flag drops in May. The announcement also adds another familiar name, what is expected to be a competitive 33-car field for the 2026 Indianapolis 500. As we get closer to the month of May, Daly's return gives fans another hometown storyline to watch as the field continues to take shape for the greatest spectacle in racing. All right, let's jump back into Phoenix, where the NASCAR portion of the Phoenix doubleheader weekend brought two different types of racing to the desert, with the O'Reilly Series kicking things off on Saturday night before the NASCAR Cup Series took center stage on Sunday. So the GovX 200, Saturday's race, turned into a late race showdown between two of the series' top drivers. For much of the night, it looked like Jesse Love would be the driver to beat. The RCR driver dominated large portions of the race, leading 114 of the 200 laps, the most of anyone in the field, but late cautions completely reset the race and created an opportunity for a comeback, and that opportunity went to Justin Allgaier, driving the number 7 JR Motorsports Chevrolet. Allgaier fought back from an earlier slow pit stop, put himself in position for the final restart. With 15 laps to go, Allgaier went door-to-door with Love and made a bold move on the outside to take the lead. From there, Allgaier held on through the closing laps to win the race by 0.449 seconds, claiming his third career victory at Phoenix and his 29th career series win. The final podium for the O'Reilly Series looks like this: Justin Allgaier, Jesse Love in second, and Carson Kvapil in third. So a strong showing from those JR Motorsports guys. Sheldon Creed and Sam Mayer rounded out the top 5, while Sammy Smith, Jeb Burton, Rajah Caruth, Corey Day, and Anthony Alfredo completed the top 10. The victory also pushed Allgaier into the championship lead as the series prepares to head to Las Vegas for the next round. That moves us to Sunday. The Cup Series race delivered another comeback story, this time from Ryan Blaney. Blaney's race did not start very smoothly. The Team Penske driver had to recover from multiple setbacks early in the race, including pit stop issues, penalty for pitting outside his pit box. That dropped him to the back of the field twice. Despite the setbacks, Blaney and the number 12 team stayed patient and worked their way back into contention as the race went on. A late caution with just over a dozen laps remaining proved to be the turning point. Blaney's crew took fresh tires during the stop. When the race started, he lined up near the front of the field. From there, the 2023 Cup Series champion wasted no time. Blaney charged forward on the restart and took the lead with 10 laps remaining. He then held off the competition over the final run to score his first victory of the 2026 NASCAR Cup Series season. The win also completed a strong weekend for Team Penske, adding to their success at Phoenix and counting their reputation and performing well on the 1 mile oval. And let's be honest, between Allgaier's late race move in O'Reilly Series and Blaney's comeback victory in the Cup race, Phoenix delivered a full weekend of strategy, restarts, and late drama. It was also a perfect example of how 1 mile desert oval can produce wildly different races across NASCAR's divisions, but still deliver the same thing fans expect from Phoenix, which is tight racing and finishes that aren't decided until the final laps. With the racing wrapped up in Phoenix, the motorsports spotlight shifted halfway around the world to Melbourne, where the 2026 Formula One season officially began at the Australian Grand Prix at Albert Park. The race marks the first real test of brand new 2026 regulations. From the very start of the weekend, we delivered some drama, some strategy calls, and a few surprises across the grid. When the lights went out on Sunday, the battle at the front immediately came to life. Charles Leclerc made a fantastic launch from fourth on the grid. He jumped into an early lead ahead of pole sitter George Russell, while Lewis Hamilton and his Ferrari quickly joined the fight as the top 3 ran nose to tail through the opening laps. The lead swapped multiple times during the first 10 laps. Russell and Leclerc traded positions in an aggressive early duel. Meanwhile, rookie Kimi Antonelli was quietly working his way back towards the front after losing positions in the start. The first major turning point came on lap 11 when Red Bull rookie Isaac Hadjar suffered an engine failure that brought out a virtual safety car. Mercedes reacted immediately, bringing both Russell and Antonelli into the pits, while Ferrari kept Leclerc and Hamilton out on a track, hoping to extend their stint, stretch their legs a little bit. A second virtual safety car later in the race triggered when Valtteri Bottas pulled his Cadillac off the track. Again, took up the strategy battle between Mercedes and Ferrari. Ultimately, Mercedes committed to a bold one-stop strategy, while Ferrari tried to extend their tires and chase them down late in the race. As the final stint unfolded, it became clear that Mercedes had made the right call. Russell controlled the pace at the front and managed his tires perfectly over the closing laps. Antonelli stayed within striking distance behind him, while the Ferrari simply didn't have the pace to close the gap. After 58 laps around the 5.2-kilometer Albert Park circuit, George Russell crossed the line to win the 2026 Australian Grand Prix, finishing 2.9 seconds ahead of his teammate Kimi Antonelli to secure a dominant Mercedes 1-2 finish and the first victory of the new season. Charles Leclerc completed the podium in the third position with Ferrari, while Lewis Hamilton finished fourth, right behind there. The rest of the top 10 featured Lando Norris in fifth, Max Verstappen, climbing from 20th on the grid to finish 6th, followed by Ollie Beerman in 7th in that Haas, and rookie Lindblad scoring points on his Formula One debut in 8th. Bortoleto finished 9th in the Audi's first race as a full works team, while Gasly rounded out the top 10 for Alpine and closed out the rest of the points there. The race also had its share of disappointment. Local hometown hero Oscar Piastri never even made the start after crashing on the formation lap on the way to the grid, ending his home race before it even began. There were several other retirements as well, including engine failures for both Hajar and Valtteri Bottas, as we discussed, while both Aston Martin drivers struggled with reliability issues during the race as well. In the end, Mercedes left Melbourne with maximum momentum. Russell's victory gave him an early championship lead, and Antonelli's second-place finish immediately established the rookie as a driver to watch this season. If the season opener in Australia is any indication, the 2026 Formula One Championship could feature a tight title fight between Mercedes, Ferrari, and the rest of the front-running teams as the calendar moves on to the next round. But let's be honest, Mercedes showed some good domination. This is almost like years ago Mercedes on their title runs. And we're back. We got our special guest, Joe. Welcome back to the show, man.
Hey, thanks again for having me, Alex.
Yeah, man, it's always good to talk Formula One with you.
Always.
So, Australian Grand Prix, we kicked it off. This season's ready to go. And I guess, the biggest takeaway from me, we watched a lot of preseason testing and all that stuff, but did this race confirm some expectations we saw in the preseason testing?
Just that Mercedes is definitely head and shoulders above the rest, and almost to the point where they're not running away with the lead just so regulations don't change for them.
Right, yeah. They showed it pretty early on, right? They've got a whole stable now kind of controlled. We did see some good stuff out of Ferrari, and we'll break it down team by team, but yeah, they definitely ran away with it. And it kind of reminds me of the golden days of Hamilton with Mercedes, right? Like we've gone back in time. But
even with Antonelli too, the way they were able to get him back on track after that crash in quali.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that was a team effort for sure. They've got a good program going. They really do. It's going to be interesting this year. Was there and again, we'll cover everything kind of team by team. We'll go through it, but were there any like real big surprises from you? I guess any surprises on your end when you were watching it, that something that was unexpected or anything like that?
It was a real pleasant surprise to see how well Hajar was doing in that number 2 Red Bull seat.
Yeah.
Kind of caught a bad break there with that his engine going out, but like the whole weekend in practice and qualies, he was not only was he right there with Max, could have been better at some intervals.
Yeah, he definitely, I feel like, outperformed a lot. Max made up some serious ground, obviously, from poor qualifying and stuff, but yeah, he was going full out on it. And had they had a little more reliability, it would have been interesting to see if he could have gotten into that top 5 battle. Yeah, he was just, man. Yeah, that's a good point. He was pretty solid all the way around. So I guess, we'll talk about it kind of in ranking from the race, really, but we'll kick it off with some Mercedes stuff. 1-2 finished to open the season. George Russell seems to have taken, a full leadership role. You mentioned how they got Antonelli back on board after the struggle previous to the race. Man, yeah, I don't know. They, is Mercedes, to me, it seems like they're the team to beat. They tested the most. I don't know. What is your opinion on that for the season?
Yeah, I think it's theirs as of right now without any regulation change. The championship is theirs to lose. They're running away with it on both drivers. And this started before, in testing, before any of the public saw anything with the compression ratio, little rumor mill starting to brew.
Right. Yeah, they've definitely figured something out as long as they can stay within regulation. It's you said it. It's theirs to lose at this point after the performance they just showed. And I don't know historically. I didn't look at the numbers, but I don't believe that that's really a track that they've had a ton of success at.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know off the top of my head either.
I'm not great with all the stats on that. Yeah, well, I mean, we saw what happened in the warm up lap, in the formation lap. So that wasn't great for McLaren. But
that was a major bummer for them. I don't know. Same thing with Max in quali, right? Just something out of the ordinary happens with the car, and they put it in the wall.
Yeah. It's definitely a weird opening season for some of the teams you'd expect to be, already at the top. I mean, Mercedes has never been a slouch by any means, but you expect these other guys to come in just rocking and rolling, and it just hasn't happened. But I mean, I guess we'll see how it goes. The next one I want to kind of talk about is, I mean, the close, third place in Ferrari. I mean, strong pace. The back and forth with Leclerc for the lead for a while was super impressive. And I mean, he was showing some veteran moves when he was doing that too, outsmarting the turns. So you were getting lockups from the Mercedes guys and stuff like that. And then, Hamilton had pace, which was great. I mean, strategy seemed pretty solid until they screwed up on their pits there, which Hamilton didn't seem too happy about. But I don't know. What do you think on that?
They're their own worst enemy after race number one. Their strategy was just off the mark, and maybe that was because on that second safety car they had that pit lane block, so they couldn't get in. But they should have jumped at the opportunity when they had it.
Yeah, that first one with the virtual was a good run with back-to-back Mercedes pit stops, and then you had Ferrari just stay out and just, I don't know, seemed pretty wild. But I guess the real question is do we think we'll see consistency from Ferrari challenging Mercedes all season long, or is this kind of one of those one-off deals?
I hope that Ferrari can stay with it. It'd be good to see them running that pace again, especially with them fighting Mercedes. It'd be fantastic.
Yeah. Like I said, I feel like this is, 10 years ago Formula One, or, it's like the tides have shifted, I guess. But I hope so too. I hope they can keep the pace going and everything else and consistently challenge like they did this time. I mean, that back and forth for the lead was awesome. I haven't personally seen a Formula One race start out that strong for me, with the entertainment value in a long time. That was pretty awesome.
Yeah, those first 19, 20 laps were fantastic.
Absolutely. So, I mean, we kind of touched on McLaren. They had some strong expectations coming into the season. They were still competitive. Obviously, we don't know what the second car would have done, but, Lando did what he could do. It's always, I mean, this is all hypothetical, right? We're in the early first race of the season. A lot of stuff can happen. I mean, we saw what happened with Max last year and everything else, right? But as of now, is McLaren still a championship contending team?
I believe so. They're just, with it being new regulations, new powertrain setup, they're not a direct manufacturer for those engines. They get it from Mercedes, so they're going to be just behind the eight ball a little bit on it, but give them some time and they'll pick it right up. And I think they're still well in contention for it.
Right. Yeah, I think so too. I mean, they've probably got the best two drivers for a team, right? Like every team's got a great driver, but those two are probably the most consistent. I mean, that's why they were battling each other for the championship last year.
Yeah.
But we may see that out of the Mercedes guys this year, It's hard to say.
He's no slouch either.
No, he's getting it done. That's for sure. He's still kind of in a rookie, but he's getting it done.
Yeah, he's still, like you said, he's in that rookie state every now and then. It shows through, but all in all, he's solid.
Yep, absolutely. And let's cover some Red Bull. I mean, that rough weekend for them. Qualifying issues put them behind early. Max Verstappen drove from the back to almost the front-ish.
Yeah. Well, was he 5 or 6? I can't remember.
I want to say he was 6th, if I remember right.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I mean, we know they had some engine issues, obviously, with Hajar's car, and then they just kind of lacked pace overall, really. And I don't know if it was I feel like it's just a rough weekend for him, but maybe it was more than that. I don't know. I guess we'll see, right?
Yeah, and I guess you never really tell because everybody right at this interval is still like, oh, all the readings you get, we're still showing good, so we're good, we're good, we're good. But everybody says that, so you don't really know until the next few races.
Yeah, exactly. You just never know. And we got our midfield battle teams, right? You got the Aston Martins, you got the Alpine, you got Haas. Haas actually delivered a decent performance with Ollie. I was actually quite
Ollie
surprised by that one.
It's fantastic. I think Ocon better step it up this season, otherwise next year it might not be having a seat with how Behrman's doing.
Yeah, he's doing fantastic. I mean, honestly, the midfield competition is going to be pretty interesting to watch because, Alpine scored some points. I think, personal opinion, and I'll get your take as well, but I think Haas is probably out of those three, the Aston Martin, Alpine, and Haas, I think Haas is the team to beat in that midfield now with Ollie and, I mean, like I said, Ocon, if he can get it going, but Ollie's proven some stuff.
No, most definitely. And I think, too, just to add to those three, that Racing Bulls is going to be a contender.
Yeah, true. I didn't even consider them in that.
Because Lindblad, holy crap, what a debut race.
Yeah, true. That was his first F1 race, right? He was Formula 2 prior.
Yep.
So, he came in hot. Yeah.
And was Lawson, when he decides to turn it on, he does well, too.
Yeah, Liam Lawson does do a good job. Yeah, it's a good point. I mean, they're probably that bar in between the midfield and those top teams, right? Like, they're right up there in the top 5. They're probably number 5 of the top 5.
Yeah.
To be honest. And then we got some of the newer ones, right? We got Cadillac and Audi. I mean, being Americans, I'm rooting for Cadillac all day, every day.
Yep.
But, Audi's establishing itself as well. I don't know. The reliability issues that Cadillac had, I think that's just growing pain stuff. Obviously, we know the driver lineup they've got's good.
Yeah.
It's
the 10 years
very unlike.
It's great.
Oh, yeah. It's very unlike those two drivers to have a whole lot of issues. And they were scrubbing wheels. Like, there was some good stuff going on there for a bit, which was pretty awesome.
Yeah. And Audi did well, too, with both their drivers. It sucks that Hülkenberg got out. But again, that's kind of a reliability thing, right? New team. It's just something that happens.
Yeah, because they're full control this year, right? On that team. Yeah, so a little bit of growing pains for sure. I guess, what do you feel like success is for the teams? And I wouldn't necessarily, because the Audi one's a little different, but say Cadillac, like, what does a successful season look like to that team this year?
I think if they can get in some points in a handful of races, they'll be looking good.
Yeah, I think their possibility for maybe a one-off podium or something like that's still out there as well.
Yeah, you never know what race is going to be wet that's usually dry. That kind of just throws a monkey wrench in everything.
Yeah, they've got the veterans driving, right? They've got the veteran lineup. TWG has a ton of money to put towards that program. I mean, they've done everything the right way. So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a podium or two out of them, which that'd be great.
Yeah,
I think those cars would look awesome.
Yep, I like theirs, and I actually really like Audi's too.
Yeah, the simple, clean looks. I really like those a lot. Yeah, we touched on, this rookie class we've got. I mean, I think you already mentioned it, but I'd ask you which rookie you're most excited to watch this season, but I'd say it's probably the Racing Bulls and Lindblad.
Yeah, he went toe-to-toe with Verstappen for a good bit, keeping him at bay.
Yeah.
He showed that he belongs up in F1.
Yeah, these kids are wild nowadays, man. They're just jump in, both feet, ready to go.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy. And I do think there's going to be some rookies high up in the points that might actually shake up some championships this year.
And Bordello, he was in the points too. He might surprise us as well. Be able to spread his wings a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we've got Mercedes and Ferrari going at it. You got McLaren and Red Bull still kind of hanging in that mix. Developments coming through these new teams. I mean, there's definitely a lot going on, right? Definitely a ton. But yeah, man, I don't know. I'm excited for this season. I can honestly say I don't get super ramped up for Formula One seasons. I like when there's good mixture in the races, and that's just coming from watching so many different series and so much stuff going on. But I don't get like super, super pumped up for it. But after this one, I'm pretty excited for the season, to be honest. And I honestly got to give a shout out to Apple TV. They did a great job setting up for all that. I was curious how that was going to go. That seemed pretty flawless. I'm also kind of biased there.
On the F1 app, so they're still using the Sky Sports. So I
didn't see how Apple was normal broadcast.
Yep.
Yeah, the Apple broadcast was pretty solid, so can't complain. I mean, it's very comparable, right? They just basically had the same lineups and everything, and just brought them right over. But yeah, it was a great time watching that, and I'm excited for it for sure. I think it'll be good. So I guess the hard question is, after race one, who is your pick for the championship this year?
I'm jumping on the bandwagon. I'm going with old Jorge Russell.
Yep. Yeah. Old George. He's like you said, man, it's his to lose at this point, right?
Yeah. So far, he's been head and shoulders above everybody else.
Yeah. If he can just keep that composure, you got to keep your composure. If he can just keep that, he'll be good to go. And I think he will. I think obviously saw some stuff out of him the first little bit when he first came over to Mercedes, but I think the maturity levels changed quite a bit now that he's the lead driver over there.
No, most definitely. He's really filled into that spot nicely.
Yeah, he's a great team leader now, I think, and it'll be exciting to watch him mature through the next, I guess this whole season.
Yeah. You can see what it carries over after it as well.
Yeah, it'll be a good time, but yeah, man. Well, I appreciate it. I just wanted to get you on, just touch base on some teams, kind of see where we're at. You follow these guys a little closer than I do. I just wanted to kind of get your feel for the season. We'll definitely have to touch base again come mid-season. I guess, biased. This is supposed to be the Formula One segment, but looking like you're going to hit the Indy 500, or what are we doing there?
Oh, yeah. Things are looking very promising for that. So hopefully I'll see you there.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I'm excited. That's going to be, being a guy that's seen the Formula One stuff too, like it's going to be a totally different world for you on that. Still open wheel racing, but in a completely different fashion. The history, the pageantry, like it's so wild there, man. It's going to be a good time.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
Heck yeah, man. Well, I appreciate it, as always, coming on. It's great chatting with you, even though we kept this one a little bit short. This is going to be just had to touch base after that season opener, since we didn't really do much of a preseason show.
Right. Slacking over here on our parts.
Yeah, it's all good, man. We're all busy. We all got a lot going on. But yeah, as always, man, I appreciate it, and we'll definitely get you on again.
Oh, yes, sir. It's always a pleasure, Alex.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
All right.
With that, let's get to our favorite segment of the show, at least my personal favorite, where I get to learn a little bit about somebody. Sometimes I know, sometimes I don't. We're going to do some history. Let's close this out the right way. Tonight's Motorsports History segment is about a man who didn't just race cars, he defined an era of American racing, and that's Mr. Bobby Unser. If you're a diehard race fan, you already know the name carries the weight. But when you really dig into it, you realize something else. Bobby wasn't just successful, he was formidable. Let's just start with the numbers. 3-time Indianapolis 500 winner, 2-time USAC national champion, 35 IndyCar wins, 49 poles, 10 overall wins at Pikes Peak. And this wasn't the paved, polished version of Pikes Peak we know today. This was dirt, cliffs, no guardrails, one mistake, and you're done. Bobby didn't just compete there, he owned that mountain. He grew up in Albuquerque. The Unser family practically treated Pikes Peak like a training ground. There's a story that Bobby claimed he could smell when the surface was about to lose grip, that he could sense the dirt changing before other drivers felt it in the wheel. True or not, might be folklore, but the results back it up. He was consistently faster, smarter, and more committed, and that commitment followed him into Indianapolis. In 1968, Bobby dominated. He led 127 laps at the Indy 500 and went on to win the USAC championship. That season wasn't lucky, it was surgical. He understood how to manage the 500 miles. He didn't just charge, he calculated. That's something drivers who raced him always talked about. Bobby was thinking 2 or 3 moves ahead. Then, 1975, driving for Penske, rain-shortened race, slippery conditions. A lot of drivers overstepped, but not Bobby. He understood the moment. He managed the pace. He won his second 500. And then we go to 1981. Controversial one, right? Late in the race, he passes cars while the yellow is out. Officials penalize him. The win goes to Mario Andretti. Then months later, after appeals, protests, the decision is reversed. Bobby gets the win back. To this day, fans argue about it. But here's what makes it interesting. Bobby never backed down. His attitude was simple. I raced the situation as I saw it. The stubborn confidence was part of who he was. Now here's something diehard fans really appreciate, and that's Bobby wasn't just a wheelman. He was mechanical. He was deeply mechanical. This was pre-telemetry, no laptops, no live data streams. If something was wrong with the car, you had to feel it, describe it, and diagnose it. Crew members from that era tell stories about Bobby crawling under the car himself between sessions, talking through spring rates, shock settings, weight transfer. He could explain exactly what the car was doing mid-corner and what needed to change. Engineers respected him because he spoke their language. And there's the family legacy, right? His brother Al Unser wins 4 Indy 500s. His nephew Al Unser Jr. wins 2. Between them, 9 Indy 500 victories for that family, and that's not dominance, that's a dynasty. Drivers in the paddock used to say if you're watching an Unser, you better be ready because they wouldn't lift and they would outthink you on strategy. Bobby was a sharp edge of that reputation. There's also the snowmobile story. In 1996, he and a friend got caught in a blizzard in New Mexico, stranded for days in the brutal cold survival situation, and he makes it through. And when he talked about it later, he compared it to racing as staying calm, assessing the risk, making smart decisions under pressure. You name it, right? That's Bobby. Racing wasn't just speed, it was problem solving at 200 miles an hour. After he retired, he moved into broadcasting, and he didn't soften up there. If a driver made a mistake, he told him. He said it. He said the quiet part out loud. If a move was weak, he called it weak. Fans loved it because it felt honest, it felt unfiltered. The same guy who raced hard was now analyzing hard. So why does Bobby Unser still matter? Because he still bridges the eras. He raced when the cars were dangerous and unforgiving, when mechanical sympathy mattered, when drivers needed raw feel and mental endurance. He won on dirt mountains. He won 500-mile chess matches. He survived controversy. He helped build one of the most successful families in American racing history. And through it all, he carried himself with confidence of someone who believed he belonged at the front, not hoping to win, but expecting to win. And that's the difference, and that's Bobby Unser. And that's your motorsports history for this episode of Historic Hot Laps. We could dive in and probably do a full hour on Bobby, and maybe we will sometime, but there's just a lot going on right now, a lot in the racing world. We appreciate the listen. If you got this far with us, please like, share, subscribe, follow us on the socials, hit all the stuff. Kind of thinking about doing some sort of giveaway at the 500 this year because we're going to be there set up. I have a couple posters up. Maybe if we see you, tag us on social media with the poster. Maybe we'll do a giveaway. I don't know. Comment what you guys like to see. Hit us up, as always, and appreciate the listens. We'll see you next week. We got a good weekend of racing ahead of us. Stay safe. Thanks for tuning in.